Welcome to Cineights, where you get to know the best movies and series. Today's video is about best movie coming to theaters in January 2024. Be sure to watch until the end. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Night Swim. The first horror movie of 2024 will be Night Swim, written and directed by Bryce McGuire and based on the 2014 short film of the same name by McGuire and Rod Blackhurst. Night Swim follows the Waller family, who move into a new house after the father, Ray, a professional baseball player, is forced into early retirement. In their new home, there's a pool that Ray believes will be fun for the kids and provide physical therapy for him, but there's a mysterious and dangerous supernatural presence haunting the pool. Also starring in Night Swim are Carrie Condon, Amelie Hofferl, Gavin Wattern, Nancy Lenehan, and Jodie Long. He Went That Way is a true crime thriller movie directed by Jeffrey Darling in his directorial debut and based on the non-fiction book Luke Karamazov by Conrad Hilberry. He Went That Way follows Jim Goodwin, an animal trainer traveling with his pet chimpanzee, Spanky, who picks up hitchhiker Bobby Falls. This soon turns out to be Jim's worst mistake, as Bobby is a serial killer, dragging Jim into a real nightmare. Also starring in He Went That Way are Patrick J. Adams, Troy Evans, Alexandra Doak, and John Lee Ames. Mean Girls is a musical comedy directed by Samantha Jane and Arturo Perez Jr. in their feature film directorial debut, and it's based on the Broadway musical of the same name, which in turn is based on the 2014 comedy film. As such, Mean Girls follows the premise of the original movie. Katie Heron is the new girl in school, and she infiltrates the group of Regina George, the most popular and cruelest girl in school. However, what starts as a plan by Katie's other friends to bring Regina and company down soon triggers major chaos across the school. Also starring in Mean Girls are Ali Carvalho, Christopher Brinny, Hakel Spivey, Bebe Wood, Avantika Vandanapoo, Tina Fey, Tim Meadows, Jenna Fisher, and Busy Phillips. The Beekeeper is an action thriller directed by David Ayer. The Beekeeper is the story of Mr. Clay, a former operative of a clandestine organization called Beekeepers. When his friend and neighbor falls for a phishing scam and kills himself, Mr. Clay goes on a quest to exact revenge against the company responsible, but his brutal campaign for vengeance takes on national stakes. Also starring in The Beekeeper are Emmy Raver Lampman, Josh Hutcherson, Minnie Driver, and Jeremy Irons. The Book of Clarence is an epic biblical comedy drama movie written and directed by James Samuel. The Book of Clarence takes the audience all the way back to 29 AD Jerusalem to follow Clarence, a streetwise, struggling, down-on-his-luck man who comes up with a plan that he believes will change his and his family's lives for the better. Capitalizing on the rise of Jesus Christ, Clarence claims to be a new Messiah sent by God, through which he looks to free himself of debt and start a life of glory. Also starring in The Book of Clarence are Omar Sy, Anna Dio, David Oyelowo, Tiana Taylor, Caleb McLaughlin, James McAvoy, and Benedict Cumberbatch. ISS is a sci-fi thriller movie directed by Gabriella Cowperthwaite. Set in the near future, ISS follows a group of astronauts living aboard the International Space Station. When a worldwide conflict breaks out on Earth, the US and Russian astronauts on board receive the same orders from the ground: take control of the station by any means necessary. Starring in ISS are Ariana DeBus, Chris Messina, John Gallagher Jr., Pilo Asbeck, Costa Ronan, and Maria Mashkova. Miller's Girl is a drama movie written and directed by Jade Haley Bartlett. Miller's Girl tells the story of Cairo Sweet, a talented young writer who, when her teacher, Jonathan Miller, assigns her a creative project, quickly becomes entangled in a complex web with Mr. Miller. Soon, the lines blur and Cairo and Mr. Miller's lives intertwine, forcing them to confront their shadows while also struggling to preserve their individual sense of purpose in the things they hold most dear. Also starring in Miller's Girl are Gideon Adlin, Bashir Salahuddin, Dagmara Dominchek, and Christine Adams. Sometimes I Think About Dying is a romantic comedy drama movie directed by Rachel Lambert and based on the 2013 play Killers by Kevin Armento. Sometimes I Think About Dying follows Fran, a socially awkward office worker who spends most of her time alone and constantly daydreams about her own death. One day, a new colleague, Robert, bursts the bubble of her own isolation, leading to dating and more, with Fran herself being the only thing standing in their way. Also starring in Sometimes I Think About Dying are Parvesh Cheena, Meg Stalter, Brittany O'Grady, Brie Rod, and Marcia Debonis.